to Soccer as We Like It. My name is Tim Ross, your host, and this is our Express edition where we talk about a preview of all the big games in all the big leagues within Europe. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start with Bundesliga. Bundesliga is having a transition at the moment. There's been a new kid on the block, a new kid called RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig today are currently leading Bayern Munich by 6 points. They defeated SC Freiburg by 4-1 away from home. This team are winning away, this team is winning at home. They just can't be stopped. Bayern Munich have an opportunity to win today if they can beat Bayer Leverkusen. But can they beat Bayer Leverkusen? Problem is, Bayern Munich lost last Saturday to Borussia Dortmund. They lost midweek in Europe to Retov in Champions League and are now going to be second in the group with Atletico Madrid in Champions League. So currently, Bayern Munich are struggling, are really in a bad way. But this is an opportunity to close the gap back to 3 points. They're currently behind RB Leipzig by 6 points. If they can beat Bayer Leverkusen, they will be able to close the gap to 3 points. Borussia Dortmund is another team that is climbing up. They won last week by beating Bayern Munich 1-0. They won a historical game by beating Liga Warsaw by 8-4 in Champions League, the biggest goal margin ever scored in a Champions League game, 8-4. Now, they are at home to TSG Hoffenheim, another newcomer who have been playing some good football. TSG Hoffenheim, they're currently lying in 6th position, but can Borussia Dortmund capitalize on this opportunity and beat TSG Hoffenheim and climb up the table? So in the Bundesliga now, we have RB Leipzig leading 6 points, Bayern Munich second, Borussia Dortmund third. But these things can change. If Bayern Munich do not win tomorrow, they will be 6 points behind RB Leipzig. But they have an opportunity by beating Bayer Leverkusen to close the gap. Now, if we quickly go over to Serie A, we have some cracking games in Serie A this weekend. We have Napoli against Milan. Milan, who just came back from that fantastic Milan derby against Inter Milan last week. Although it ended 2-2, but it was entertaining. It was fantastic football throughout. It looked like the AC Milan bowl. They're only 7 points behind Juventus, so they have to beat Empoli away to close the gap. Because if the gap gets any wider, I'm not saying they could win the league, but make it more challengeable, make it more enjoyable for the thousands of fans who've been willing AC Milan to come back to the glory days. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it, viewers? Now, we also have Roma home to Pescara. Pescara seems to be everybody's doormat. Everyone seems to be beating Pescara. Everyone's beating Pescara. I think Pescara is going to get relegated the way they're literally just losing every week. So Roma are going to definitely take 3 points and knock that game out of the way. Genoa home to Juventus. I don't think Genoa will have enough to hold Juventus from winning this game tomorrow. I think Juventus are on such a rich form. They're coming straight after beating Sevilla away, another strong team in Spanish League who are third. They were able to beat Sevilla away from home by 3-1, and now they're away to Genoa. I think that's going to be a 3-pointer. They're beating Genoa easily, so that won't be an easy. Inter against Fiorentina. Inter. I know Inter are going through a transition. Last week, they gave people the belief they are back by coming back to join that game, 2-2 at the very last minute. Now, they were leading the match in the Europa League by 2-0 and lost the game by 3-2. What did that tell you? They're now lost in the European group. They're not even going to qualify. They're out of Europe completely. But this might be the opportunity for them to now concentrate on Serie A. But they have to be able to beat Fiorentina tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. We're going to take our first commercial break now, and we will join you right after our commercial break. Soccer as we like it. Stay tuned. The segment of the show. Thank you for staying with us. Now we're gonna go straight into La Liga. La Liga is becoming, you can now see a shape forming. You can see Real Madrid now gradually breaking away from Barcelona, Sevilla, Villarreal, Real Sociedad and Atletico Madrid. Atletico are doing well in Champions League, but in the La Liga, they seem to be struggling. The last game last week in the old Vince Carlo Stadium, they lost 3-0 at home to Real Madrid to Ronaldo hat-trick. Now, Atletico Madrid will be playing away to Osasuna. Osasuna are literally the second to last in the La Liga. So they have to capitalize and get the 3 points and start climbing. They're literally 9 points behind Real Madrid, who are number 1 on the table. So Atletico Madrid cannot afford to drop any more points at this stage. Real Sociedad at home to Barcelona. Real Sociedad are 5th and Barcelona are 2nd. But my thing is this, Barcelona are not exactly firing in the La Liga, but they're doing well in Champions League. But should I say the opponents in Champions League are weaker? We're talking about Celtic here, and Celtic have been predominantly really poor. To be honest, let's face the facts here, unfortunately. But if we go forward, Barcelona are not. Last week they were held at the Nou Camp 0-0 by Malaga. Exactly. I thought MSN were not playing. They all played, but they just could not beat a 10-man Malaga team. But now, can they be Real Sociedad, who are 5th, who are more organized and technically better than Malaga? But football's a funny game. We just never know what's going to happen. Real Madrid against Sporting Gijon. I just can't see this from not being a Francing. I can't see Sporting not being thrashed. It looks like they're going to take a beating. There's no how Real Madrid will lose at home to Sporting Gijon. So that is literally a 3-pointer, and that will round up our La Liga roundup of games this week. So we have Real Madrid leading the table, Barcelona in 2nd place, 4 points behind Real Madrid. Then we have Sevilla on 25 points. Then we have Real Sociedad. Then we have Real Madrid. We have Villarreal, and we have Atletico Madrid. So I hope this thing is going to change. I hope Atletico Madrid could find a way around it and make it more challenging. But it's good to see other teams in the mix. Sevilla have still got an opportunity to qualify for the next stage of the Champions League. Although they lost at home to Juventus, but they still have hope on Game 6 to qualify for the Champions League next stage. If not, they'll go back to Europa and win it again as they've always done. Right, we're going to run quickly to the Barclays League. EPL. Now we've got some cracking game. The Premier League top of the table leading position might change 3 times tomorrow. We might have Man City winning by beating Burnley. We could see Liverpool beating Sunderland, changing. We could also see Chelsea beating Tottenham and changing. The biggest game for tomorrow is going to be the London derby between Chelsea and Tottenham. We all remember that bloody game last season that denied Tottenham from winning the title. Even though Chelsea had been shambolic all season, but against Tottenham, they were on fire. And that game was one of the bloodiest games ever seen in a local derby. It was a 2-2 game, and Leicester were crowned the champions of England. Talking about Leicester, Leicester are off form. They've lost home, they've lost away. I think they've already decided they're not going to make top 10. Let's concentrate on the Champions League, which is so sad. It's like they didn't even try. They're not even trying. They're home to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, who lost at home last week to Chelsea and was so defensive, no one even knew who Middlesbrough were, the home team or the away team, because they didn't even cross the centre circle. I couldn't understand that. But if we go to the next game, Hull against West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion coming straight from the 4-0 trashing of after thrashing who did they trash last week? They beat a team last week. I can't remember now. Oh, it's left my head. Anyway, Hull City are home to West Brom. I don't think West Brom will be able to. I just can't see West Brom losing that game. I think Hull City will win that game easily. But Hull City, they're so inconsistent. That's the problem I have with Hull City. They're inconsistent. You just never know what to expect for Hull City. Swansea home to Crystal Palace. Swansea, this might be Rob Bradley's first home 3 points and his first victory in the English Premier League. Can he do it? He was 2 minutes away from winning it till Coleman of Everton equalised Sigurdsson's penalty last week. So we don't know if this might be Swansea's chance by beating Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what Ireland Pardew is doing now because they are poor. They're losing every week home. They've not won, they've lost the last 5 games. This was a team that was starting fantastically, but now it's all gone belly up out here. But I don't know. Can he turn it around? We'll take a quick break now and we'll join you back after we come back. Thank you very much. Tim Russell, Soccer As We Like It. Welcome back to our final segment of our express edition of Weekend Roundup preview matches of all the leagues within Europe, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga and the EPL, and some other soccer news that comes around. What we're going to say now, we're going to finish off the EPL league matches that we're going to have this weekend. We're going to go back to our game with Chelsea and Tottenham. That's going to be a cracking London derby. But Chelsea currently leading the Premier League. And Chelsea have beaten everyone. They haven't conceded a goal in the last 5 games. They haven't conceded a single goal. Since beating Man United, they've beaten Southampton, beaten Middlesbrough. So if you look at it, they're very solid at the back. And they're great in the goals. Diego Costa and Victor Moses are playing very well as a front team. There's no spot for Cesc Fabregas in this team, funny enough. But we'll have to proceed with that. Can Tottenham change this? Can they change the result? They've had a disastrous European campaign. I'm sorry, it's been shambolic, it's been abysmal, it's been so bad. They lost 2-1 to Monaco in midweek, which sent them out of the Champions League completely. So they're going to go to the Europa League, which I know they're not even going to take seriously and going to end up being knocked out of that one. Well, now, since it's a local derby, it's going to be a feisty affair. But I'm going to say this. Tottenham are still unbeaten in the Premier League this season. But this is the situation. Can they pull it off at Stamford Bridge? They haven't won at Stamford Bridge for I can't even remember the last time they won at Stamford Bridge. So they could pull a surprise. It would be nice. I expect a draw from that game. I wouldn't expect Tottenham to get beaten, but I think Tottenham could go there and get a result, as in get a point. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a classic game, but I don't think Chelsea could beat Tottenham. I think Tottenham would rather not lose. But Tottenham getting a draw, is that going to be beneficial? Because they've drawn quite a few games. They're now fifth in the table, because they're drawing too many games. But in their mind, we're not losing. They're making progress. Alright? Now, let's look at Watford and Stoke City. Stoke City are still trying to recover from that shock after being beaten at home by Bournemouth last week, 1-0. Stoke had 4 games in a row winning, and they lost at home to Bournemouth. And this is why I keep telling you, football is such a funny game. Some things look so easy, but yet so difficult. So I think Watford and Stoke, I think that's going to be a draw. I think Stoke will try to avoid another defeat, because they were losing badly up to when they went to Old Trafford to get a draw at Old Trafford. Bloody idiots. Anyway, if we look at Arsenal and Bournemouth. Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Can Bournemouth pull off another surprise? I don't think so. I think Arsenal might just sneak this one. I think 2-1. Arsenal not exactly firing on all cylinders, but I think they'll get a 2-1 victory over Bournemouth. It could be 3 or 4 if everything goes according to plan. But if Bournemouth set the stalls properly, they might be able to hold Arsenal, frustrate them. But it's going to be tight, but I think Arsenal will pick that one. Now, Manchester United at home to West Ham. This is a very tricky fixture. United have all the tools to beat West Ham. United have all the support to beat West Ham. But putting the ball in the net has become a problem for United. Yes, they had a fantastic game against Feyenoord during the week. They beat Feyenoord by 4-0. Rooney scored, Mata scored, Lingard scored. So it looked great, and Ibra scored. So I think they're back. But my thing is this. United can beat West Ham, but they have to score in the first half and not concede free kicks around the penalty box for West Ham. Because West Ham are deadly outside the box when it comes to dead balls and good at set pieces. So United have to be very careful. West Ham narrowly lost at White Hart Lane last week. They played well, but lost to Harry Kane and a Spurs comeback 3-2 last week. My thing is this: United have to put the ball in the net early in the first half to cool the nerves down and try and hit 2 quick goals and knock it over. Then in the second half, keep possession and kill the game off. They played the game nice. The flow is fast, it's pacey, it's better than what LVG was dishing out last season. So I think Jose Mourinho is doing the right thing. I don't think his selections are right. I think Martial should be playing in front of Ibra with the pace, and Rashford coming on through the left and Rooney coming off on the bench. People are saying Rooney's back. I'm not one of those who just jump in. Oh, he's back. He's been poor for the last 3 seasons. He scored 1 goal. Okay, he made another, but he should have been doing this for the last 3 seasons, mate. I'm not going to get carried away. I still think his time is up. After this season, I think we need to just sell him, man. Golden handshake. Thank you for great servant. You've done job. You've got Bobby Charlton's record. Thank you very much. Have a good day, good night, and goodbye. And wish you all the best. Go to China or go to MLS. So we'll see how that pans out. But United need to beat West Ham on Sunday to make sure they stay within the teams, because you have Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester United. It's getting staggered. But United, if they had won all the 3 games they drew, they could have been top of the table. But it's not how you do it. It's all about putting the ball in the net. On that note, we ended today's edition of our Soccer Express edition. Soccer as we like it. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we shall see you at the end of the week. No, we'll see you on Monday when we're doing the weekend roundup of all the results for the league. So you take care. Thank you very much. Tim Russell, Soccer as we like it.